Hello, everybody. I'm really excited for this episode because we are going to be talking about something that I feel like is just now hitting me in the face, but I've always believed this at my core. But I want to give it to you because I think it's really good food for thought. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so was it last week or the week before? I posted a carousel where I literally took like a snapshot of myself in the mirror at the gym. And I've been getting like back in the gym, feeling really good about myself after I've been going through IVF for basically like a year and a half. And it's so crazy because just some backstory. In October of 2023, my husband and I decided that we would start trying to be parents. And that was a really fun chapter. Like, okay, we've made the decision. We're going to try. Here we go. Let's do the thing. I had no idea what we were about to get into. All of that to say, I will say that my entire life, because I was a collegiate athlete and because I grew up in a family that always worked out. Like I remember growing up, my mom would like she was a runner. Like she would always be running, or when we were really young, she would teach aerobics classes. And before she had kids, like she owned several different aerobics studios in New Jersey. Like she has always been very much an exercise person. And then my dad, even to this day, like well into his 60s, he is retired and he still wakes up and he goes to the gym. Like that is just who he is. Like it's always been a part of his life. And then you look at my stepdad and he was like a runner back in the day. Like he's always moved his body. So anyway, all that to say, I grew up with a family of people that exercised. That was just a part of our life. And so for me, exercise has never been an option. It's just something that we do. But when I knew that I wanted to get pregnant, I will say like I I don't even know how to say this. Like I allowed myself to put exercise on the back burner because I had this subconscious thought of, okay, well, I'm about to get pregnant. So I mean, whatever, I'm going to gain weight anyway, which I know is not the right thought. Okay. Like looking back, like that is crazy that I let myself do that, but I was just excited. So I kind of like put exercise on the back burner. And I will truthfully say in hindsight, I can see where I burnt myself out with exercise because when I first started my business, I was a fitness like leader. I was selling a fitness guide and even in network marketing, like it was all about fitness and I was working out all the time. And I would go to the gym and spend like hours in the gym. And I think I just burnt myself out. Like I was no longer interested in it come the end of 2023. All of that to say, last week, okay, now I'm a year and a half into IVF and I finally feel like myself back in the gym. So I took a picture of myself after being consistent in the gym for a few weeks, took a picture of myself, the typical glute, like perky booty looking mirror selfie. And then I was like, I want to turn this into a carousel because this is a really fun story. So a couple weeks ago, I think it was, I posted that I was back on my bullshit after 2 years of basically like fighting for my mental health. And here's the results of me telling this story. 320 something, 327, I think, people liked this carousel, which is crazy for a carousel. Okay. I also feel like I'm not telling you these numbers for you to compare your numbers to this. I'm telling you these numbers because this is not common for my like engagement on a carousel. It will be because we're going to get there. And this is the whole point of this episode. And also the point of this is like, I'm not going to like worry so much about these numbers, but they do matter, especially if you're building an empire using your social media. The engagement that you get on your social media posts freaking matters. Okay. So, back to the metrics. 327 people liked this post. 75 people-ish commented on this post. Okay. If you remember anything from prior episodes, in my opinion, the ultimate form of a compliment on your social media engagement is a comment. Like, again, I love getting likes. I love getting views. I love shares. I love saves. But the highest form of compliment to me, the highest indicator that I've connected with someone is when they comment on my post. So I want to talk about why this post was so successful in terms of connection and engagement, because it wasn't just like me claiming this personal moment of I'm back in the gym, I'm back on my bullshit, here we go, I'm a baddie. That's not what that was. It was an entire lesson for me, like honestly, an entire lesson for me creating this post about what content actually is and why the women that I work with, the women that I mentor and coach are actually, and you listening are included in that. Even if you're not in my world yet, you will be. And even if you're listening to this, my goal is always to make an impact on you and leave you with something. And I'm here to tell you, I've realized that we are leaving our most powerful material on the floor. Like we're overlooking it. So here is what's actually happening. The women that I work with are usually, especially the women that are in close proximity to me, and I understand who they are as a human being, and then I understand what they create in their content, and then I understand their business. And I've realized that these women are separating two things that they think are separate, which is their life and their work, their craft. Their personal seasons, their hard chapters, their survival, they think that's too personal, or they think that it's not professional. They think that it's quote unquote not what people are going to come to me for. They think that they're trauma dumping. They think that they're complaining. They think that they shouldn't be able to show the struggle. And I'm not out here telling you to go talk about all the things that challenge you. That's a different topic. But my audience just told me the opposite of all of that. The realest thing that I posted this month got nearly 400 likes. And then let's just say, okay, if we look at a post where I create a carousel and I'm like giving tips away, okay, a carousel or even like a chit chat video, whatever, those get typically like 20 likes. Okay. So the data doesn't lie here. We're looking for connection in our social media, not just for the sake of connection, but because this is personal branding, this is leadership. And if you want people to see you as the leader, you have to connect with them. You have to. This is like know, like, and trust. And again, I go back to the point of know, like, and trust is and always will be the key, the answer. Okay. So here's some things. I want to give you a couple of things to take away from this. Number one, survival mode in your life, whatever that looks like, is not a gap in your story. Like it's not like whatever survival mode looks like for you. And again, it looks different on everybody. It's not a gap. It's a chapter of your overall story. So the women in your current audience right now, they're either currently in survival mode or they're just coming out of it. So I want you to consider that. And when you post your comeback of what your survival mode was, again, when I tell stories that feel heavy, I definitely am not like looking for my audience to hold me in the heaviness. I'm coming at my stories from this elevated perspective, showcasing how I navigate through this. I don't need anyone to like give me, attention or feel like the need to take care of me. That's not what I'm doing in my content. I'm literally showcasing how I navigate life because I'm proud of that. So when you post your comeback, when you talk about survival mode, people aren't going to see it as a weakness. They're going to see themselves in you. And they're going to see that their hard season is not time lost from the goal. So you have a common goal shared with your ideal target audience. When you share your hard season, which they can relate to, resonate with, it is material for their work because you are claiming that yourself. So the thing that almost broke you, the thing that you, like the actual bridge where you were walking over the bridge, a lot of times I witness people, they talk about the before and the after. They don't talk about the bridge in depth enough. And there's many different stories that we can tell, I'm sure. Actually, no, I know for a fact. The thing that almost broke you, that is the exact thing that's going to make your strategy, your methodology credible. So let's say, let me give you like a supporting example here. Your own 2-year chapter, like what did surviving that teach you about having clarity or showing up for the thing that you have now, the thing that you want to teach someone else to have, okay? You need to tell that story. Number 2, the content that converts an audience, okay? Listen to me closely. The content that converts the audience. And when I say conversion, I think it's also very important that you decide what conversion looks like for you. And if you can't answer that question, we have a gap in the process. But so let's say conversion looks like I just want them in my DMs asking about my work. That's a conversion. Or a conversion is I want them to like my post. Or a conversion is I want them to comment the ManyChat trigger. Or the conversion is I want them to click the link in my bio and buy the program. Okay. So again, have clarity around what conversion means to you, because conversion is like this very vague term that you need to define for yourself. Okay. So let's go back to the content that converts. And if we're talking about converting in any way, it doesn't matter. The only content that converts is the content that tells the truth about the process. So when you're giving people like generic tips because you're trying to be valuable, I get this. Like you're trying to be very valuable, but the tips that you give are very like educationally, like education-y, like not very, they're just very forgettable. Versus when you tell the truth about the process, like do not hide the fact that you worked your ass off for what you have. Also, that's going to help you call in a higher caliber client. Anyway, when you tell the truth about the process, that's when you become unforgettable. People are going to you're going to build a reputation on this. So, for example, I also posted recently where I created a carousel on how I dance in my content. I dance in my content because I love dancing. And I told the story about how I record one dance for one post as if I'm about to get found by Usher. That was my hook. And that post works because it's very specific and it's very real. And the post prior was literally me dancing. So people can put two and two together like, oh, she's talking about this dance that she did. Not because I'm teaching a tactic. Like I'm not saying here's how to create good content. You need to go practice a million times. I'm telling my real lived experience. That is a subtle shift, but a massive shift. My audience and your audience, they're not out here buying the expertise that we have. Like think about anyone that you've purchased from. You're not buying from them because they have like this step-by-step formula that you're like, okay, that sounds like it works. You're buying the proof that it works because they're real humans talking about real seasons of life. And that real season could look like the challenge that I'm talking about right now, or it could look like their afterlife. Like they have it all and they have what you want. And so that's why you buy from them. It's not because of their expertise. So what you need to see that you have not figured out yet is that you need to actually, this is going to get a little deep here. You need to actually just choose yourself over and over and over again through the hard parts and then tell the story. Choose yourself through the hard parts. So even when I'm talking about recording a dance video, I'm choosing myself because I'm dedicating an hour just to learning the damn dance. And then when I talk about my comeback in the gym, I'm choosing myself by going back to the gym. I have a comeback season. I'm not going to let myself fall deep end entirely. I'm choosing myself, and then I'm documenting that. I'm telling the story. So you see how this works here, okay? Point number 3. Yesterday, I posted a carousel that literally the hook says, I am ready to be disliked. And that's not me being reckless. Okay. I'm not doing that because I am trying to get attention. It was the moment for me where I was like, okay, I'm having this thought. Why would I not share this and be truthful about what's actually on my heart right now, which is the moment that my brand becomes real. Same for you. So in that post yesterday, I said, I'm ready to be disliked. That is not about being controversial just for the sake of it. Okay. Let me just be very clear. I think there's a lot of people who will tell you, you need to be opinionated. You need to be spicy. You need to be fiery. And yes, but they're missing the plot. Me posting a post that says I'm ready to be disliked is about being so clear on who I currently am and what I stand for so that the right people are magnetized to me and some people fall off. I fully expect people to be like, yeah, no, I don't want to be disliked. So and that might not be conscious for them, but they're going to disappear from my platform. And I want that. So you see how I'm repelling people just by being me. Most women water down their content truly because they're trying to please everyone. And that's why it feels flat to them and to their audience. So the discomfort of full expression, and this is what this whole post was about, this discomfort of full expression is the exact place where the most powerful content lives, full expression. And so I'm having these thoughts I'm ready to be disliked, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to fully express myself in that thought on my social media in front of my audience. And that is the moment, if you start doing this with your thoughts, with your brand, this is the moment that your brand is not going to feel like some check the box, like I got to perform, I got to say this, I got to say the right thing. And instead you start to position yourself as a leader. Way different than just checking a box to post. Okay? What you need to sit with as you're listening to this is ask yourself a couple of questions, because this is what I do. I had to sit here and write down what is my thought process behind all of this. So what have you been keeping off your content because you thought that it was too personal or maybe not relevant to your topic or your niche, whatever? You've been hesitant to share it because you're no, I don't want to share that. It's too personal. It's oversharing. It has nothing to do with my business. I promise you that is the exact thing that your audience is waiting to hear. The personal brands, the women on social media that are killing it and build extremely loyal audiences that turn into communities, paying communities, they're not the ones with the best tips. They're not the ones with the best problem awareness. They are the ones whose audience literally can say oh, she's been through it and she is still here and she still believes in this work. And they can feel that. And that is the kind of authority that there's no result, there's no accolade, there's no achievement, there's no certificate, there's no credential that can give you that kind of authority. Okay? So if you're in that place right now where you I don't know, maybe you're going through something. Again, everyone's in a different place of their time, of their life. And I do this from a couple of different angles. Sometimes in the carousels that I'm talking about right now in this show, these are I have these immediate experiences and then I post about them. I'm not waiting to post about this. However, there's a lot of times in my stories where I will go back in my timeline and share that story. That's more of an origin story. This is me I'm documenting in real time the fact that I am an authority. I live this life. So regardless of what place you're in, I guess, if you maybe feel you're back at it or you're feeling the spark again, okay, you feel this is your season, but maybe you don't have clarity on your methodology. You don't have clarity on your message. You don't know how to put your work into a form that builds the kind of empire that people actually invest in. That is exactly when you join the Takeover Mastermind, which is my signature mastermind space. For 6 months inside of the space, we're going to go deep on so much stuff. But what I want you to come out of in the next 6 months is this with this fully defined body of work. I want you to have this clear message. We will go through your power statements, which is going to set up your entire social media. I mean, literally, you're never going to question what to post ever again that feels like you. And most importantly, I'm going to teach you how to create this presence on social media that people can feel through the freaking phone. They can feel it through the post. Okay. So I'm going to drop the application in my show notes down here. You can come find me, apply if you want to. I will reach out to you within 24 to 48 hours and let you know about the result of the application. Okay. But the one thing that I want you to take from this is your stories, the ones that are personal to you, your survival story, your achievement story, your challenge story, your obstacle story, even if it has nothing to do with what you sell, that is your brand. And you've been hiding that, which is preventing you from having your most powerful content. Okay? There's a reason that the most personal thing that I posted was about me getting back in the gym after still going through IVF. And there's a reason that was the most successful post for me this month. And then the content tips that I post are getting 20 likes. Okay. So again, it's not about just getting engagement for the sake of engagement. It's about positioning yourself as an authority, because here's the thing. When you have this community of people that they fuck with you, they're wow, she's a baddie. I respect her. I love her. I aspire to be like her. When you build community of people like that, they buy anything from you. Literally anything. You don't even have to worry about doing this complicated launch or figuring out all the funnels. That'll be optional. You get to do that later on. But when you have an audience that is so loyal to you, they're deep in it with you. They're going to be the ones that are you offer anything, I'm in. No questions asked. Send me the link. Okay. So that is the difference between content that is just content you're posting, you're just checking the box, versus content that actually converts. And it's usually not what you think. You're probably overthinking this. You're probably thinking like, oh, I need people to understand what their problems are. I need them to feel activated. Bruh, I'm telling you what, like there's a time and place for problem awareness, but at the same time, like I have so much to say on that. Maybe that's the next episode where I talk about problem awareness content. Right now, I'm talking about you need to start bringing your real process for how you live your everyday life. Not just your results from your business, but your real process of how you are this elevated leader into your content. And I promise you, literally watch the magic unfold right in front of your eyes. If you take advice from this episode and you go and create a post, please send me the link to my DMs so that I can jump up and down, give you a cheers with a little champagne glass and we can celebrate the fact that you are fully stepping into your power. Again, the Takeover Mastermind application will be in the show description notes if you want to fill that out, and we would love to have you join Team Takeover. What else can I say? Yeah, I think that's it. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next week. Mwah.